Hey Virgos, this is your monthly December 2017 reading. It's a general reading, although kind of turned out to be a little bit of a love reading, but I don't know, kind of. But before I get started on your reading, I just have a few messages that I want to get out of the way. As of right now in December, I might extend it out just because it's taking me a little bit longer to get these videos out due to personal reasons. So I might extend it out a little bit. But as of right now, if you pay within the month of December, I'm running some holiday deals on tarot readings. A 30-minute reading will be $25 and a 60-minute reading will be $45. So that's kind of good. It's about half off of the price. But it's kind of good if you know, for Christmas gifts, if you just have a lot going on in your life, if you want to know kind of what the new year is going to bring, really any type of reading. Also, I'm doing right now where if you comment within December of 2017, if you comment on any of these 12 monthly zodiac sign tarot readings, like you don't have to comment on each one, like just one comment, that's all that counts anyways. But if you comment something more substantial than like hi, but it doesn't have to be long, just put a comment like either like what you think or constructive criticism or if it helped you. You don't have to say if it didn't resonate, because we know these are general readings, so some, none, all, you know, whatever may apply, may not apply. You get the gist. As I had some comments for my twin flame readings, and it really meant a lot to me, and I liked it. It was interesting reading about people's journeys and what they were going through and their comments. For any cross watchers or even anyone who is watching any of my other videos so far and they're cross watching for Virgo, or one of their signs is Virgo or significant placement in Virgo, if I have not gotten to your comment yet, because there was just so many, and like by the time I finish responding, like more is there. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep responding the way I have, because it's just, it's so much. But don't take it offensively if I haven't, like I've seen it. I just am setting out, I've gotten to where I'm setting out certain times of the day to get back to comments, because if not, like I'll just waste a lot of time. Not waste a lot of time, but it postpones getting some videos out, so I'm working on prioritizing my time where I'm like, okay, I got to get the rest of these videos out, yet I want to respond to comments. So don't take it personally is what I'm trying to say. There's just so many, and I'm trying to get back to them and all of that. But anyways, yeah, comment at least once on one of these 12 monthly zodiac tarot readings within the month of December. And then when December's over, I don't think I got to that part. When December's over, I'm going to do like a random poll. I'm going to put all the names kind of like in a hat or drawing or whatever, and do a random poll, and whoever I poll will get a free 60-minute reading. So yeah, comment. Anybody who's watching and wondering what order I'm going, as of right now, I did Sagittarius first because it's their month. And then I went in order, like Aries, Taurus, blah, 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 down the zodiac. So this is Virgo, you know, it's just going from there. In the future, I'm probably going to do like who left in order, like who left the most comments, who had the most views, and then just kind of go in order from there. But chances are I'll just go by numbers at that point. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. I have a lot of great content, a lot of great ideas coming up, and a lot of subjects that I'm passionate about as far as like anxiety, depression, codependency, yeah, narcissism, codependency, maybe some in twin flames, spiritual awakenings. I do have, I'm going to do an update on my twin flame video soon. So if you haven't seen that, you know, go see that if you're following or on the twin flame journey, or a twin flame journey. Yeah, but I have a lot of ideas coming, so subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss the video. or anything that I post. Don't forget about commenting, the holiday deals. Check out your sun, moon, rising, especially if not, if this doesn't resonate, maybe one of those other ones will, or sometimes they all do, and just create like kind of a nicer picture. Your Venus, if you have any significant placements within your natal chart. If you don't know, I've never looked at your natal chart or how to look at that. I think I left like 1 or 2 links or sites in the description below, so you can go look it up there and get that information. Okay, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Okay. I want to start out with your reading with saying, like, first of all, this is a very heavy energy. I really kind of get the vibe, like I've been writing down throughout the day. Like there's even some things that I would talk about, and I'm like, this is for the Virgo video, I can tell. I just kind of have this feeling of, I just don't want to deal with anything or anyone right now. I don't really want to talk. Irritated. Very little patience. I feel kind of like that mentality, like if it's not one thing, it's another. It's very much a fear-based energy, like almost fearful. Like even before I started your reading, like even now, like I'm really trying to work through it. And it's not my own, so I feel like it's this energy within this going on. But when I was sitting down, starting and preparing to do the reading, it was like I was really insecure. Like I just didn't feel confident, or I was like, that feeling you have when you're really intimidated, or like, really insecure and not safe, maybe not even trusting. I also got like this deal, which I think I probably will address a little bit more later, but kind of like this vibe of taking the trash out of your life. I do think you're at a lot of endings of cycles, and you're revamping. Would highly recommend, which I will get into more too, that you really check your perception on things. And really do some self-work. As long as you are at the end of a cycle and you are coming up on a phase where you're going to start a new one, which just shows you're thinking about it. So that's good while you're waiting to start a new one. But you don't want to walk into a new phase of your life especially after whatever this is, without really having done the work. And I understand the feeling of taking out the trash in your life. But I was actually talking about this because I had some things with myself that I was addressing as far as, because I'm kind of going through this to some degree. I'm a Taurus sun, a Gemini moon, Leo rising. My Venus is in Pisces. I feel very much pulled to, remove a lot of things out of my life that aren't working. But I almost to the point even though where I was wanting to do it, or I found myself like through daydreaming or meditation thinking about doing it, almost in ways that didn't even matter, but that were like even self-sabotaging, like to even like acquaintances where it's like, well, if you're not my friend, what is this? If you're not my friend, if you're not this or whatever, then we just need to cut this out. Like, this isn't worth it. And so I find myself after, like, thinking, like, and I'm sorry if I sound all over the place because I was trying to rationalize this out, and for some reason I felt like I was supposed to talk about it in your video. So I don't know if I have a realization in it, or maybe some part of what I'm saying will help and I'll go finish the rest out later. I don't really know. But when I think about, what I was trying to do, I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, I can understand, like, if it was really, like, hurtful or traumatic or very, toxic. So that I understand. That's something, that's like, okay, I get what I'm doing or what you're doing. But if you're, like, so much to the point, like, so fed up to the point that it's even people around that's just, like, acquaintances, or every now and then when you see them, you're like, hey, what's up? How you been doing? Boop, boop, Those are nice to have. Like, though, there's no reason to close a door on those relationships. Even if they're not up to par with exactly what you're wanting to do now or right on your whatever. Like, if it's not toxic, if it's not bad for you, it's okay to leave acquaintances. So my main point of saying all this is I was getting to that point where even some people that were acquaintances or friends, but we just really didn't talk that much or whatever, like, I was getting this almost internal drive within me to be like, what is this? What exactly is this? I mean, if we don't really talk, if we don't really do this, like, let's just close this door and let's just not like, think a friend or something. I was, like, really trying to put boundaries or a box on it. And it really alarmed me to some things because I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, why to that level? And I don't think I fully wrapped my mind around it yet. So, I mean, if it becomes even more significant, I might do a video on it. But the one part of it I did pull out of it is that I don't know whether we do it subconsciously or whatever, or it's just something to be mindful of, is that sometimes when you go, like, overboard and you're really in that just, like, fed up kind of fearful mind, which usually is run by your ego. It's your ego trying to protect you, and sometimes it can go overboard, especially for somebody like a Virgo who just thinks, and they're very self-critical, and because of that, sometimes they can project the criticalness on others. And sometimes they don't even, I don't know if you guys fully, I mean, I think you guys know what you're doing sometimes, but sometimes when you're, being critical like that, or you're, maybe like you're removing the trash right now in your life, don't go overboard with it, and don't go, like, over analytical. Don't get all anxious about it. Don't go overboard in a fearful egoic state, because at that point, what you're doing is you're removing as well all the mirrors from you that are supposed to teach you and show you about yourself. Because when I really started having to look at some of the things I was trying to cut away, I'm like, why am I doing that? And what it came back to, because at the end of the day, it wasn't doing anything to me, but something about it was annoying me. Like, it was just annoying me. It was eating at me. And what I found myself doing was placing them in a box or of expectations that I myself felt like was being done to me. And, like, I was complaining about it not long ago, that I felt like others were doing that to me. And now here I am, because I'm trying to, like, really figure out why I'm doing something that really doesn't make sense. Like, where am I coming from with this? I'm doing it to others. I do feel like there's more that I have to look into on that, and I don't know if I can wrap that up in this video. But the one part I did get from it that I did want to talk about in your video that I figured out was the fact that one part I did figure out as to why it soothed me. A part of me felt like it soothed me to think about removing them was because like a part of me, I'm assuming my ego, felt like if they weren't there, their presence as a mirror of what they were reflecting to me, if I did this self-reflective work like I'm doing right now, wouldn't be there. It's like how the world mirrors you. Like how sometimes some of the most annoying people in the world to you have the same attributes as you. Or they show you things about yourself, or theirs is more an exaggerated form. Like, I realized that the parts that were annoying or eating at me that would have felt better if they weren't there were mirroring parts of me. And I think that a good majority of why I wanted to cut them away on at least a subconscious level was because maybe I didn't like what they were reflecting to me. You know, don't get me wrong, most people don't know that it's being reflected back to them. But when I really stopped and looked at the reasons why and what was annoying me, I realized it was reflecting me. And really at that point, the only reason that I really wanted to, I don't know, just that their presence was annoying me, where I'm like, this really isn't working. This is dumb. Like, this isn't valuable or sufficient enough to keep around. And really it didn't matter. It was like one of those things where like, it was all in my head. Like, even if I did or didn't do it, it'd be the same either way. But in my head, just thinking like, oh, I'm just going to cut this out. I'll just feel better this way. It would have been exactly the same. Like, I would have made no difference. You know what I mean? They were like, even some relationships that like, I don't even really talk to them. But if I saw them on the streets, I'd be like, hey, how you doing? But other than that, no. We don't really talk, or every now and then. It's like, those are okay to have. Like, why wouldn't you have those? They don't affect you either way. And they're nice to have. Like, you don't have to only have people that you talk to all the time. I don't know. So I was really trying to think, like, why am I going overboard with this? You know what I mean? Like, why am I just getting at this phase? Like, yes, absolutely. Take the trash out of your life. If you have things and people that aren't working for you anymore, or they're even sabotaging, or they're not good for you, but be careful that you're like ask yourself why you're removing these people before you do it, is what I'm saying, unless it's like really obvious, because it might just be that nagging annoyance that you don't really know why. Your ego is just like, or maybe after all this, you just had enough and you're just like, clean slate, which I get. But at the same time, like, make sure you're not removing the people that are meant to be there, at least at a temporary point, to be your mirrors, because then you're not going to get your lesson, or somebody else is just going to come anyways with the same lesson or even worse. And maybe a better way to put it would be, when you're doing a clearing like this after a cycle, after many cycles complete, before you move on, yes, do the work, but it's not just about removing, I'm just going to keep saying trash, just to make it easier, you know, trash, people, situations, whatever. Garbage. It needs to go. I'm not saying those people are garbage, but you get what I'm saying. Like, clean house, you know, spring energy, good, positive, lively energy. You know what I'm saying? It does not serve you to just remove the people and the situations away from your life and just start over like, new world, here we go. Abundance is coming. They're all gone now. All those troublemakers, all those bad things, all those things, it was their fault. They're gone now. So everything's fixed. It's good. No. No, no, no. You have to also do like internal removal of trash as well. It mirrors what's going on within us. So if you just get rid of the situations and the people, guess what? Either they're coming back, or you're just attracting new ones with a different face, or even worse, because it's like, oh, well, you didn't get the lesson. Let's slap her a little harder, or slap him a little harder this time. You guys have to go within. You have to do the work, and I think you're kind of scared to do it. I almost get the sense of like a victim mentality, martyr. You have to clean house inside as well. I would almost even say, I mean, I guess you could still, like, if it's very bad for you and it's harmful, yes, remove them first. I was going to say, I would almost say do the work before you remove them, but that doesn't even really matter, because as long as you already know the relationship and you know what it was like and what the people did anyway. So even if you removed them and you're like, no, yes, they weren't good, you could still do the work even if they're not there. So I guess my main point saying is, do not just clean house in your outside environment. You absolutely, and even more importantly, have to do it within. Make sure you are taking the trash out within as well. Okay? Because again, it mirrors. So as long as you're wanting to start this new cycle and bring in better things, this balance that you want, you have to do your side of the work. Okay? All right. So we'll just get we'll get started. At the core of your reading, you have the 9 of Wands. Like, this person, I think, is wearing a mask that they're okay, or they're strong, or whatever. But this person is clearly, like, they're sad. Normally the 9 of Wands is like, the wounded healer. So you could be the wounded healer. You may not be at the healer part. Maybe you're more at the wounded part. Because I think, and don't get me wrong on that, because some of you might be like, no, I'm a healer. No, or no, I help others. Yes. But make sure that you're coming from a positive place and a love vibration. And also, like, some people will kind of have like almost this victim mentality, like, poor me, blah, 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 and they're sad and they're down and out, but they'll almost help others to make themselves feel better. And they want to help, but it does make them feel better. And then it's almost just like feeds this almost thought process, like, I do so much for so many people. I always help. I'm always here to take care. I sacrifice even to help others. I even give up what's best for me or what I want to do to help others. Like, I always just get the crap end of the stick, or I'm always viewed this way, or this always happens. That's a victim mentality and being a martyr. So in a way, yes, it's a healer. Like, you could be helping somebody heal in some ways, and by the giving of your time and how you're helping. But you're for sure not healing yourself with that thought process. And if you're offering advice, that's not helping either. But at the end of the day, this is about you. Like, you're not helping yourself, but you're really sad about something. Like, you are just really down, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're thinking about a lot of things. I don't think that things went the way you wanted or the way you planned. In the Rider-Waite, the Nine of Wands, like, he's standing there with his stick and he's like almost ready to fight that last fight, like a battle of the wills. This person's not ready to fight that last fight. It's not the battle of the wills. It's like they've given up. It kind of does go along with the victim mentality. And I know you guys are fighters, so I'm not saying that. I just think that in a way you've given up, like, by you guys, in a way, energetically or physically secluding yourselves. You're kind of given up in a way. Like, you just don't want to fight. You don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, you just don't want to. Like, you don't have that last within you as your will, and if you do, you definitely don't want to spend it. You want to keep it for yourself. And what's clarifying this is you have the Hangman. So again, I think you kind of feel like you've been forced into this position. Like, forced into this position of sadness and retreat. Exactly like the Hermit. Like, you guys' card in the Tarot is the Hermit card. And it's about retreating for inner knowledge. So you guys are, like, actually very much embracing your energy, just on a very heavier level. Almost like a victim mentality level, but where the Hermit, you know, more goes in for that higher spiritual knowledge, that wisdom, which this could take you to. You know, you could go to the depths of the darkness to rise to the light, which most, yeah, that's one of the most popular journeys to kind of enlightenment or figuring things out. So that is very possible. So you guys are kind of embracing that energy, just kind of on a more darker level. My only recommendation, not darker, but darker, like, emotionally, you know what I mean? My advice to that, just really, really work on looking at yourself. And I'm not saying you're the only one in that, but since it mirrors, you are part of it. And if you do not look at yourself, you are missing half the equation. And I would also do things to work on raising your frequency. Exercise is a great one. Doing something you love, even if it's work, just do work in a healthy way. Don't use it only as a form of escapism. Music, you know, if that raises your frequency, maybe even eat healthier. I mean, you could YouTube ways to raise your frequency, because I think you guys are really needing to. I do think, you know, you can embrace this energy also and kind of sit for a minute and relax with it. But I think you guys have had this for a little while now, because this is very similar to like the new moon I did for the earth signs for you guys, where there was almost a parasitic situation. So I'm almost wondering, you know, is this the parasitic situation that has ended either by your means or someone else's? and it's kind of forced you to be sad and to look within and try to find a new perspective, you know, on balance and stability. And just, you know, I don't know if you can see, but all these people, it's like they're yelling at him. Like all these people are yelling at him. Like, I don't know if you made a wrong decision or if you did something wrong here or ended something here, or if they did. I'm just going to go on with what I think a little bit, or with the cards before I kind of get into like, you know, where I'm seeing and what I'm thinking. What's crossing you is the Magician. It's about, I do think you wanted a new beginning, either within this situation or removing and moving on from this situation. There could have also been, because clarifying this is the Three of Swords, so there could have also been like manipulation and control and heartbreak and deceit. That has kind of made you just sad and, you know, having removed yourself and kind of just being forced into that state of trying to find stability in a different perspective. Whether it was, you know, you kind of did that and the situation kind of blew up in your face, or someone else, you know, did that to you. But it's also not really, you know, taking action. Like, using your abilities and what you have to manifest something new, which makes sense because you guys are kind of like in that hermit mode. Like you're kind of secluded in self. You're reflecting or thinking. I'm hoping you're self-reflecting, but there might have been manipulation and heartbreak that has kind of forced you into this, or really just knocked you guys down. Or you're having a hard time manifesting something new and moving forward because of the heartbreak from this situation, or your thoughts about this emotional matter. I do feel there's a lot of like somebody was keeping their options open. And let's say at least more parties involved than should have been. Like if you look, here's the Three of Swords and there's like a lot of people down there. It was just very chaotic times, I feel. What's at the foundation of this, or kind of the more distant past? You have the Eight of Wands. And you have the Four of Pentacles. So, well, I'll kind of do them separately and then show you together because it's kind of interesting. I think there was like some communication. There's action being taken of just cutting away. I mean, it's clear as day. Almost in a protective, trying to gain back stability and balance. And just cutting things away, but in a fearful state. Like, not in an empowered state. Like, I think you're trying to get to an empowered state, or you're thinking you are, but it's in a very fearful state. Like, if you have these together, like, they're looking at each other. So, on one hand, I feel like both of these are you. Actually, I feel like both of these, like if say this is another person or another situation even, I feel like it's them too. I feel like there's a big mirroring thing going on here where it's like, you know, it just was like a parasitic thing. And I think that, you know, either they cut you out or you cut them out or it was just ended. But somebody got some communication of some sort. Like you could see the bird that's messages bringing in a letter, and this lady's like, oh heck no. And she's just a swinging, knocking all these down, taking action, not even waiting. Like she's mad. And he's like, oh crap, she found out. And he's trying to gather everything he can together to keep as much stability as he can and to get as much money as to, you know, together. Like, you know, maybe now you're having to like support the bills or do whatever yourself because this union is no longer. So he's really holding on to his money. He's really holding on to his sanity. He's holding on to his mind. Maybe this is a mistress he was with. Maybe it's his ego pulling him into this fearful state. And if you look, like there's hands, almost like spirit hands or ghost hands, demonic hands, but I can't think of a better word for that. It's not demonic, but and she's trying to lure him into these, I guess demonic, trying to lure him into these flames. And that's why I really say, like, it's like you're in this cutting down, cleaning out phase. You got some type of communication, or it could have been like an ending of a marriage, an ending of a relationship, ending maybe even of a job. However this applies to you, apply these messages as is, you know, to what applies to you. But cutting down, but not just cutting down in an action cleaning out way, but in a just very fear-based way, in a way of self-preservation. Like over self-preservation. So I do feel like this could be another person, like maybe they got a message, you were messing with this person, or you got a message, they were messing with a person, or this is like clearly like just your ego that's like, oh crap, and is just hanging on to everything you can for stability and balance as this is all unraveling, but almost to like your detriment and self-sabotage, like into this fire. Clarifying that, I got again the Four of Pentacles and Temperance. I mean, this could be, I mean, you do have all the signs here, but, you know, Pisces or Sagittarius, you have all the signs. So I'm not really going to go into that. But I see you as like, again, like huge self-preservation. You're really trying to ground yourself. You're really trying to get into your energy. Like maybe like this made you just feel all out of whack and not like yourself. And you know, you're really trying to get into your energy and do what you do best, which is good. But at the same time, you guys have a tendency sometimes to overdo it and overthink and overanalyze and overworry to the point of self-preservation, to the point of self-sabotage, of victim mentality, of being a martyr. I mean, he's like turning his back on everything and just holding on to the things he finds valuable at this moment. And at this point, it looks like it doesn't really involve people. It's like himself and the earth and grounding his energies and just being exactly by himself or herself. Because you're trying to find balance and stability. for the recent past, you have all the tens, right? The Ten of Cups, the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords. You have all the tens. Like, talk about coming to the end of a cycle. Like, you have the Ten of Swords, anxiety, fear, just being done and stabbed from every direction. Exactly like I said earlier, that energy of, if it's one thing after another. It's one sword after another. Who's next? Who wants to stick me next? That sounds horrible. Who wants to stab me in the back next? You know, just cutting everything away because so far everybody has stabbed a sword in your back. And you're being done with it. And unfortunately, I think it involves your family. I mean, on the upside, I do think that this is a cycle ending that is going to bring you emotional fulfillment. I don't know how much that means right now, but it will bring you emotional fulfillment, especially if you do the work. But I think that where all this is coming from is there was something that at one time did bring you emotional fulfillment. It very likely could have been like someone in your family or a family situation or a relationship, some type of situationship that now is bringing you a lot of anxiety for some reason. But I think it brought you good, you know, emotional fulfillment at one time. And it's like your family. And some parts about this have led to you being like this. Hopefully you didn't create it that way into a parasitic relationship. You know, they have a part in it too. But, I mean, you can go and look at my Scorpio new moon reading. Look at Virgo. This might be where it's leading to. What's crowning this, or what's in your thoughts, is you have the Temperance card. So again, this is the second. You got a lot of repeating cards here, so these messages are really strong. You have the Temperance card again. So again, it could very well be a Sagittarius. Or you have Sagittarius in your chart or someone you're dealing with, but you're really trying to find balance. To clarify that, you have the Six of Pentacles. You're really trying to find balance. Even give or take. I think you're also helping a lot of people out and doing maybe charitable things, or, you know, to try to create balance like this for yourself. And I think one hand that is something that's in your element. So in one way it might help restore some balance for you. But to be honest, I feel like you should almost, like, if you are using charitable acts to help restore balance for yourself, I almost feel like you should kind of refrain from that a little bit. Like, I know most people will be like, what? You know, you always want to help people. And no, you need to get your energy and your mind right. And you need to get your perspective right. Because if you don't have the right perspective and you're out there just trying to help people to make you feel better, yes, it will for a minute, but you are going to continue almost like that martyr essence and victim mentality. Like, you have to look at yourself and you have to take that time and put it into yourself. Otherwise, you're going to put it into others and not, in the end of the day, get back what you really wanted out of it. And that real soul level self-love. And you're going to hold resentment and you're going to continue this whole victim mentality and creating things into parasitic situations. Or attracting them to you. But you are trying to find balance. in your likely future, you have, I mean, look at this. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll show you first. In your likely future, you have the Ten of Cups, and you have the Ten of Wands. It's like this situation burdens you. So it's like, it could be your family or any type of situationship, as I like to say, but, or it's like on one hand, it's like, it makes you happy, but on the other hand, you're like, again, that kind of victim and martyr-like mentality. It's like, I mean, but look, in your past, your recent past, you have the Ten of Cups with the Ten of Swords. In your likely future, or coming in your future, you have the Ten of Cups with the Ten of Wands. Why is this situation knocking you so out of balance? And please, for the love of God, don't look to anybody else for that answer or blame anyone else for that answer. Because you're the only one who could like give like this meaning. Whether it's either by you doing it to yourself and creating a parasitic situation, or whether it's you staying there. But to clarify that, you have the Three of Pentacles. So I do think that, again, there's manipulation and third-party situation, deceit and lies, whether it's you doing it or them or both, or within a workplace or co-workers at a workplace, because these people are working together. So this could be a work situation, and maybe this is going on in a workplace. It could be the situation ended and you're having to start from the ground up. Or maybe working on yourself. Kind of like mind, body, soul. Me, myself, and I. Like you're working on yourself. Maybe you've even, like, you and this other person, if this is a relationship, has really been like trying to work on this relationship for a long time. And it's just been a burden to you. Like, it's just like, it shouldn't be this much work. How you see yourself is you have the Eight of Pentacles. So you're probably really trying to delve into work. I mean, Virgos very easily can become workaholics. So you could be using it as a form of escapism. You could be having family problems because you work too much. You know, that's like what they're saying. Like, that's, you know, the arguments or whatever. I also see it as like, the same thing is being done over and over again. It's like you have a pattern. Again, also, like, these are all kind of like moons. Like, there's cycles and patterns that are going on here. I think you even had patterns in that new moon video. But he's like, he's making and doing the same thing over and over again. He's not like assessing each one and like what could be done differently. It's like you're just in robotic mode or just doing the same things. Like I said, like please don't let these patterns, these cycles end and walk into new ones and not have looked at what you can do differently. I mean, these are all the same. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again. And to clarify this, you have the Ten of Swords. So whether you're working to escape all this or hopefully this pattern is just done. I don't know whether this situation's done or this pattern's done. I maybe see you as like not working on this anymore, or somebody else ended it. Like this is you with all the swords in your back and this person ended it. Or you ended it and put the sword in someone else's back and that's you. I mean, the upside of all these tens is that you are at the end of this cycle. Whether, like I said, whether it's the cycle, I don't like that. Whether it's the cycle or whether it's the situation. What's in your environment or how others see you is the Five of Pentacles. So being left out in the cold, being like injured. But I also see too, like this girl's kind of sneaking around and this guy's like hiding out and looking at people, like you're secluding yourself. Maybe even like licking your wounds to some degree. Again, I don't know whether this was you who caused it or the other person or it was mutual. But definitely being left out in the cold. You might even be trying to balance your money or get your money right. Maybe this situation left you a little not having enough money or feeling like you don't have enough money. I mean, maybe it has even gotten to a point where it's stressed you out or gotten so much to the point where like you're not well or you're ill or you've been sick or just not right and been having to get better. But either way, I feel like you've kind of been in your environment is things that like left you out in the cold or they're like looking for you. Like maybe you're hiding from your family. Like maybe you literally are using work as a form of escapism. And they're just like, why aren't you ever around? And they're driving you nuts. Like, why aren't you around? Who are you with? Like, maybe you are seeing somebody else, and that's another form of escapism. Maybe you have all these, like, temperance cards, like, because you're overindulging. Maybe you're drinking a little bit too much, partying a little bit too much. Whatever your form of drug is, overeating, overpartying, drugs, alcohol, whatever, overspending, you get the gist. And maybe you're kind of hiding out, like this is your person, like, where'd they go? And, to clarify that, you got the Ten of Pentacles. So again, like this is something that at one time brought you abundance and good things, or maybe it is a good thing, but for some reason you see it as something that kind of leaves you in the cold, or you don't like the way it feels, or it makes you just want to escape from it. Your hopes and or fears, you have the Seven of Cups. If you look, there's almost two faces. Like one face is focused on this drawing and the other face looks really worried and he's focused on these the Seven of Cups. So it's like on one hand, like I think you're working. Like working, creating something. Doing the same thing over and over again, though. But another part of you, subconsciously or consciously, is focused on these cups. Is really focused on, what do I want to do? Is focused on your options. Maybe is wanting to drink. Maybe you have been over drinking a little bit. Overindulging in whatever, like I said. But looking at your options. Like, I think because you kind of have this thing to sort of almost sabotage or create a parasitic thing in whatever you're kind of with, due to, I think it very much is in your perception. And because it mirrors, it's going to be in the other person's as well to some degree, or it'll be manifested just in a different way, but same source kind of thing. I think you always keep your options open. Or it might totally be the other person and they're keeping their options open, but if you look, like, let's look at this for a second. If here's your family and here's your thoughts, here's your family and here's your thoughts, here's your family and here's your thoughts, how would one not be in that state of keeping their options open? Always looking behind, always looking around. And that doesn't mean you have to be cheating or talking to other people or even doing some whatever. You could just be that never sure what you want to do, or working too much, or kind of inconsistent almost to the point just because like some part of your mind creates that like it's bad for you, or you worry too much, or look how this is making me feel. Like, no, it's not it that's making you feel that way. It's you that's making you feel that way. Yes, you might have somebody or a situation that drives you nuts or isn't the greatest or whatever. I'm not saying they're not playing their part, but what this is doing to you is you. I mean, you have the 10 of Cups with the 10 of Swords. You have the 10 of Cups with the 10 of Wands. You have the 10 of Pentacles with the 5 of Pentacles. In everything that should be happy, you have anxiety, burdens, feeling left out in the cold, wanting to run, wanting to be on your own, escapism, fear. Resentment. You're keeping yourselves in a box. Do you want happiness or do you not? Because you're keeping yourselves in a box and limited. What's clarifying the 7 of Cups is the Emperor. But in this deck, he's, there's a lot of women, keeping your option open. I mean, this isn't for guys with girls, like, either way, there's a lot of suitors keeping your options open. But what's really going on behind it is like this is a tortoise or a turtle or whatever. And it's, again, like kind of like a box. Like, I'm here, but at any little thing that I don't like or I don't want to deal with, I'm going within my shell. In another deck, I have the turtle is a hermit card too. It's like it's going within. Like, any little thing, I'm going to go in my box. I'm going to go in my safe world. I'm going to go in my, almost like a false reality. It's not even almost a false reality. It's a false reality. And I get it. Like, all of your reality is what, it's real because it's what each and every person creates, but it's not. I mean, I don't know if this is the greatest situation for you. I mean, I can't say that. But I do know that it's not what's in your head. But this turtle at any time is ready to retreat and escape. Escapism. And trying to over-control the situation and control how they see it. And always keep their options open. Why? Because maybe they don't trust that the situation will be there. Maybe they expect the worst of it. Are you expecting the worst of this situation? Maybe it's already ended and you're like, well, heck yeah, it ended. I was right. Which you could have created that completely. But if it is still going, are you expecting the worst? Are you keeping your options open because you know either by your acts or the other person or situation's acts or just the fear-based mentality alone and the patterns and everything that it's going to end? Which, by the way, you will create. I mean, you might literally be trying to control the demise of this situation so that you literally protect it from happening to you, or this is being done to you. What's in your likely outcome is you have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords could be seen as a healing card. I do think this is about matters of the heart, and you're like keeping your truth, you're keeping the one, you're trying to heal from the emotional heartbreak of it. But I see it as you trying to ground yourself, like she's in the ground and she's thinking about things and thinking about what she wants and what's happened and what's transpired. But you might have also dug yourself a hole because of this whole mentality you've had. To clarify this, you have the Knight of Wands. So there could be a lot of like in and out, sexual, non-committal, fiery kind of energy. Sexual gratification, partying. That you're either thinking about, dealt with, did. Maybe this is what dug yourself a hole in the situation. Or you're kind of just having, a moment of like, what do I want and how do I want to go forward from here on out? You have out of these two decks, out of the bottom of your cards, you have the Queen of Cups. But look, her cup is dripping. It's like you can't keep your self-love full. Which could be your like emotions. It could just be like, even when you try to keep it full, it's just draining. You need to mend your cup for self-love, or even offering it. Like, it has a hole in it. It's not working properly. You need to spend some time on your cup. Okay? On yourself. It's got a hole in it. Spend some time to repair yourself. Stop trying to help other people because you need your energy right now. You need to heal from your heartbreak. You need to do some shadow work. The Seven of Pentacles is like taking some time, seeing if what you're putting in, like this could be you seeing like am I getting out of the relationships and situations around me what I put in? But this person is like stabbing this tree to make sure that it still has life, like it's still nurturing and growing things. But it's bleeding, like, and it's something it cares about. So I get it's doing it to see if it's still, you know, you're assessing the situations around you to see if they're still like having life flow through them, if they're worth being there and going to bear fruit. But at the same time, are you hurting or sabotaging the situations around you just to see the emotion, just to see it bleed, just to see that they care? Like, instead of just knowing because the tree looks alive and there are things growing on it and that wouldn't be that way if the tree was dead. No, this person has to go and stab it to make sure. Like, are you sure you want to be here? Are you sure you want this? Are you sure? I'm not really going to be confident that you really want to be here unless I see you bleed, unless I see you cry, unless I just see turmoil. Or maybe someone's doing this to you. But flip it as needed. You know, you get it. I mean, again, like a type of like self-sabotage type thing, like to where you need to do this to feed your egoic needs. Like just checking all your options, all your things. Which one makes you feel better? It's almost like a collection. Collection of almost like a narcissist harem in a way. It's almost like you or somebody gather and collects things just like, here they are, this is what's valuable to me, and I want to make sure they're still there. I still want to make sure they're options. I still want to make sure they're alive. Like Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, like options, checking options. What have you gathered? What have you put together? Are you still getting back from them? Are they still serving you? Are they still feeding you life? Are they still feeding your egoic needs? Maybe this is sabotaging you and becoming toxic in a way to where now you have to make a decision. Maybe you're having like, God, I got to minimize. I don't know if I can keep all these cups anymore. I don't know if I can keep up this charade. This is like not good for me. It's not good for anyone else. Maybe I'll lose my family. Maybe I've already lost my family or this emotionally abundant situation. And this is where I'm left. You know, here's your Hermit card. And look at it. That just sucks. Because it just all came crashing down. You want to know why? Because here's your parasitic situation. It's a flea. Parasitic situation. Immaturity. Trying to sneak away to get off on your own, whether it's to do things that you shouldn't be doing with your other options, or whether it's just because you want to go hide out in your cave. And this is the Seven of Swords. The funny thing about this Seven of Swords, I mean, he's the one holding that sword over his throat. This harm is being done by him. Her, him. You get it. Please apply this as necessary. This is self-sabotage. This is like seeking like praise from others, and yes, it could be victorious, but I don't think so. I think it's partying. I think it's parade. I think it's feeling praise, feeding your pride and your ego, and you know, could be with another situation. Hopefully you didn't get somebody pregnant or someone else get pregnant. mean, there is a Scorpio, you know, this is kind of a Scorpio vibe to some degree with this. But this is the Two of Cups. So, like, this situation has just caused you, I mean, this is the Eight of Swords, like, you're just trapped and falling over. I think you just want to gain control over a new opportunity. A new beginning. Find what you find valuable. Take control over it. You know, it could be with an Aries, maybe a Taurus. But I think you're just trying to put an end, or someone's trying to put an end to the third-party situations and find a new path. Like, you found out a truth, or you're figuring out a truth about yourself. And you're trying to find a way back out to stability through conflict and deceit and manipulation. Not only in your environment, but within yourself and to yourself. And this really applies to any party. I can't see any one of the parties in this. It's just like, oh, it's just them. No, it's got to be both to some degree. Whether it's mirroring in or manifesting in slightly different ways, there's no way. You have the King of Swords, so not talking. Like, this baby can't talk. He can't share his truth. He can't even talk yet. Like, you're not really talking. You're saying what needs to be said, and that's it. You don't really want to interact. You don't really want to be around people. You don't really want to mess with things that you don't really want to deal with, and you're only speaking what you need to. You're only saying what you need to. Hope, you know, you might even be saying just enough to keep people thinking and doing what you want them to do, but at the very least, you are not speaking your truth, whether it's because you don't know how you feel yet, or you're not able to, but you're not. And again, you have the Four of Swords, like, you're just sitting there and you're thinking. And this could be about something from the past. It could be something involving children or a soulmate. Maybe you don't know what you want, you're stuck, and you're keeping your options open, like, because you're thinking about somebody from the past. Maybe you're like, on one hand, you're like, this should be such an amazing situation, but I feel, I just feel like this about it, and I feel like the Five of Pentacles about it, because it just doesn't, maybe it doesn't measure up to someone, you know, that soulmate from your past that you're thinking about. Or it could just be that you are really trying to think about, you know, this situation of something with your family. Or I think you're having nostalgic memories, especially like during Mercury retrograde right now. I think you're really thinking about someone from the past. It could even be like a soulmate thing that you're wanting or should come back together. Maybe this is yours and theirs higher self trying to work on your situation in your life to set things up where this cycle ends so you could go back to this person. Because you two are supposed to be together. It might even be a twin flame thing, which, you know, I kind of see another card. But you want to offer your love. You want to start a new beginning. Like, you're like, screw it, I don't care, I'll walk towards the flames. Anything to get away from all this madness. But you're doing the work. You're trying to create a new foundation. But you're either trying to work on it. You could be doing the same things over and over again. However, the pentacles from this perspective do look slightly different. Maybe you are creating something slightly different, but you're doing the same thing over and over again. Hopefully the situation you're walking towards, you know, you could be highly passionate about, but hopefully it's not something that's toxic or self-destructive, or you're just like, I don't even care. I want it that bad. Anything's got to be better than this. You know, and you have strength about it. This thing reminds me of a twin flame too, like how normally they'll have like two heads and 4 arms and 4 legs, and he's got 4 arms, but it kind of reminds me of like the story of I don't know, were like man. At one time, like they had 2 heads and 4 arms and 4 legs. And like the gods, like Zeus or something, saw them as they would be too powerful and too strong. Like this is the strength card. Like too strong and too powerful, so they split them. That's where the idea of like, I think like the twin flame came from, or like the divine feminine, divine masculine, even though it's within each of us, but it's splitting off. So it kind of does give me that twin flame essence, as well as the, you know, thing around her head, the infinity sign, and trying to have strength about it. Maybe you're trying to even if this isn't a twin flame deal, like you're trying to really, I don't know, have strength about the situations, or trying to like conquer your desires, get a hold on your desires. But I really think that you're trying to work on, like maybe you're wanting to manifest and work on something from your past. Like maybe this is what this magician is like you, what's crossing you is manifesting with a situation that's really just had your heart torn up for a long time. And you really want to work on that and bring it to a higher level of commitment. Like, you know, you have all these opportunities coming to you, but, you know, you're focused either on this one love, or it could just even be all your options. But I think you are keeping your options open, but I think you always did that because it was like what you really wanted. And the truth of all this is you really wanted this soulmate connection, this thing from your past. This isn't for everybody. It could just be, you know, this is what you really want and you want it to be like this, but you're sabotaging it or creating a parasitic situation out of it. But I think this is something from your past that you really want. I mean, again, like even with this, I mean, you have 2, and then you have like the 2 birds. You have, you know, the resurgence of a love. And, you know, you have the kids in the background. So you could have kids with a person, but I see this more as someone from your past. And I got stuff on this card, but I kept it because I don't know if you can see it, but it almost looks like praying hands. Like the praying hands. Like something you've been really praying for and wanting for a long time. And hearing the call and the resurgence of it. The revival of that. It could be with a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But just something that you've really wanted, you've been defending about. Like you've had all these other suitors, all these other competitions, all these things going on, but you know, kind of like conflict, but it is divinely guided. I think like you feel like this is a very spiritual connection, but just looking above all these other people, almost like in a way like you're really looking over and waiting and wanting this one, like this person to come. And it could be you cutting out anything that's not that. It could be a Gemini, Libra, or an Aquarius, or somebody upholding that energy. Or, and like, it could just be you, like, look, taking out the trash, like, just something that's gone, dead, them carrying a casket. You could be, like, cutting out anything that doesn't give you any of that. Like, look, conflict, fighting, burning the house down. Like, you or the other person might have literally burnt the situation down because it's not what you want anymore. It's just creating conflict in yourself, and you know what you want. Because who you've been waiting for, this person, here they are. Again, you very likely could have Taurus going on here. But somebody who's just, again, kid, something from your past, nostalgia, childhood, or at least, you know, in your past. But nobody has ever measured up to this person, this queen or this king. Again, like, look, you know what you want, the King of Wands, and what's in the back of his mind. this love. Could be with a Leo or Leo in their chart. And the Strength card that I showed here had that twin flame essence to it. You just going on a new path and knowing what you want. And I think you had the King of Pentacles. And then now you have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Cups. Somebody who's very like nurturing and grounded and intuitive and loving. And you want to transform the situation of what happened in the past. There's a Scorpio energy. You want to put an end to this cycle and you want to transform what happened. And there's the Lover's card. And you've been waiting on it. You've really been waiting on it. You got the Queen of Wands, the Tower, like you knowing what you want, going after it, changing it. Got a lot of Scorpio energy because you have the Death and the Tower. So you have the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles. You have the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords. You have the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands. You have the Queen of Cups. I don't think you have the King of Cups because you're the Queen of Wands, like very nurturing. And you want to bring this back around. You want to complete this cycle. You want to end this cycle. And then you want to go back and come back full circle with this somebody from your past. That may not be for everybody. That may only be for some of you. But maybe that's why you always kept your options open. Why you didn't always fully know what you wanted. Because maybe, I think some of you always, you kind of have this victim martyr mentality and you kind of have this sabotage thing going on, creating parasitic situations. But some of you also have always had somebody else on your mind. And maybe even though this situation was like a good thing and it was like, family or whatever, it always brought anxiety and it always brought just anxiety and depression. And it just wasn't exactly, it wasn't that thing from your past, which that may or may not be thinking properly even about that. Depends on how that is for you, but I feel like you hold a lot of regrets, maybe even like you hold a lot against yourself. Did you cause a parasitic situation out of that? Did you do this with that? But it took you going through this to realize your part in that, in the relationship from the past that you've always thought about. That's an interesting thought. I kind of wanted to know, like, what kind of happened more within this. I was like, what happened, with this love that, is just so burdensome. And you have the Knave of Wands, so you have that sexual energy. You have the Eight of Pentacles, and this person's like really into it, but she's off, like, she's off looking at this, like the truth of being controlled by some other situation. What I get by these four cards, because I have this, the Seven of Cups, so again, keeping options open. Here's, again, the turtle, like in the Emperor card, so, I really get, like, the thing I get from this card, which isn't always the typical thing, but always looking at your other options, but really at the end of the day, what you really want and what has really controlled your mind and your emotions and the kind of truth of the matter, was this something or someone from the past? And again, you have two flames here, two candles, like maybe twin flames. It doesn't have to be, but it could just be somebody from your past. But I think because of that, and it's not just because of that, like it is something that's been on your mind, but either you or some other person, I just really get a lot of third party situation here, but somebody's mind has always been on something else. And I think this thing from the past, you just remember like intense connection, you know, intense intimacy, sex, especially if it was from when you were younger. I mean, you know, when you're starting out with that and that energy, and, you know, you're not thinking about anything else in life. You're just thinking about, you know, how things feel and sex and the emotions and it's all brand new. I mean, it's all like your first time or your first couple times stuff. So it's like amazing. Maybe you're even like chasing that with all these other options. So you're chasing that from your past. Can I recreate this? Like maybe you've even put together a family, but that wasn't enough, and you're chasing that past. And that could be one of the reasons for your self-sabotage. I guarantee you, though, that is not the only reason for it. There is other things even leading to that for you thinking about it so much. But your energy underneath that is you know, you got temptation, you got your wants and your snake, and you're wanting to go take off, go away from conflict. You know, she's thinking about someone like from her past. She's thinking about a picture, like maybe even something that they think they can't have, like wanting what they can't have, or wanting something from their past, like a resurgence of it. You got temptation, wanting the give and take or whatever, but temptation, what you're wanting to go for, and create balance. You have the Ten of Swords, like just being done with it, but, you know, she's kind of like pinching her nipple, so it's like something that feels good, but it hurts at the same time. Like literally self-sabotage. I mean, self-indulgence, like creating a parasitic situation. Like it hurts, but it's good. Like the guy was poking the tree with all his things he had up there. Like, you know, somebody who has things around them that they love, but like they hurt it just to see if it still gives back value or if it still loves them. So again, you have the Queen of Cups and the King of Pentacles again, and you have the Five of Chalices, which is somebody being there and like being there for her. But I don't know if you could see, but there's like a face in the background with a flame where it's like she's looking off as the guy's offering her flowers. She's like, like looking off at something else, and behind her is like this face in the flame, like it's someone else that she's thinking about and having to make that decision. This is the Two of Swords. And again, they're like, hey, and she's like, no, like her mind's somewhere else, like feeling bound to the situation you're in, but at the same time, I think you want the resurgence of that other situation, or at least that's what you keep telling yourself and what you keep going over and over again in your mind. You want to take action with this new person and create balance and stability with them. Balance. Commit. Knight of Pentacles. You were slow to do it, but you came. You might have had commitment issues for a while. It could be with a Sagittarius, or it could be with Taurus, Cancer, Scorpio, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. You really do have all the signs, though. I mean, it could be any of them. But you want to offer your love. You either want to fix this situation that you're in now, which I feel like you're conflicted and split about, or you also want to possibly offer to someone from your past. And then you were slow getting there. You were slow to commit, but here's your Two of Pentacles. And you want to create that soulmate. However, here's the Chariot, and they're going in different directions. Like, you're very split on this. You have the Strength card, the Moon, You're keeping your options open because you don't know what you want. You're creating a parasitic situation into this. This situation might have ended for you, or you ended it, or you thought it was going one way or whatever, and it did not work out the way you planned. Or you're just like so over it. Like it's almost like these are like your two minds. It's like yay, like in everything, like in the thing you're with. And you just don't know what to do. And you're worrying yourself so much to the point that, again, you're creating a parasitic situation because you're worrying yourself and not making a decision and keeping your options open to the point where you're like, you don't even want to deal with it. Like you can't even deal with it. You're just like pulling back. Which means either you're going to sabotage it anyways, or you're going to create the other person or situation to end it for you. Anytime you don't make a decision, you are making it where a decision is made for you. So you are actually making a decision. By not making a decision, you are making a decision. You are making a decision to allow it to be made for you. You are like completely giving away your power. You have, something that's either you're trying to create stability in something you're connected to, with a commitment, like if this is a marriage or whatever, you're trying to create stability because this connection, like this could be like divorce papers. This could be you ending the situation or causing a divorce because you want to reach out and connect. Like here's the bridge, you have the anchor, the bridge, and the letter. So you wanted to create stability and anchor down and connect to this person from the past and send them a message, while at the same time, or creating stability within this connection in your marriage or in your relationship now. Or you're ending it and you're burning this bridge in order to create balance, and you want to send a message to this person from your past. But I think maybe part of you is realizing that you have to cut at least one out. You're realizing maybe you have to make a decision because it's not working out well to you. Like you taking a chance, like who do I cut out? Because, you need to cut somebody out and you need to take a chance. It's a gamble. They're both kind of pretty close. But it's tearing you apart. Both of these situations I think have been going for a long time, and you need to make a decision and cut one out, or it's been cut out for you, and then take action and send a message, because it's not making a decision has been toxic for you. You need to figure out what you want, go on your path so that you can have calmness, happiness, loyalty, abundance, create a strong organization and foundation, know what you want emotionally and be balanced, have strength, health, vitality, and, figure out who you want, like figure out the couple you want. Or they're not even looking at each other. So maybe it's looking closer at what you want and moving towards that, because this situation, one of these situations, you guys aren't really looking at each other or seeing eye to eye in exactly the same way. But it's been difficult on you. It's been a burden. And I think you want to just like restore your health, make stronger roots. You want to make stronger roots. You don't want to flip-flop in the same way. And you want to send out communication in this, like, because it's key. Like, communication is key here. And you want to communicate and just, with what you decide. And, have a conversation, like, who see eye to eye. Maybe it's someone you have kids with, but I have a feeling it might be this person like nostalgia, like the person from your past, because you realized you have a lot of deep emotions. There was a lot of emotions you didn't even know of. Like as time went on, more and more, and maybe as their situation evolved, like you realized even more and more how you felt about the person. And now you're willing to do the work and let them know. And it brings you good things, blessings, higher love commitment, or at least see an eye-to-eye and harmony between the two. And you're kind of just biding time and figuring things out to send this message for this new beginning. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing just says, like, ending a cycle, new beginnings, changing things, going after it. The main theme of it is going after what you want. This is going to be a long video. I'm really trying to shorten this down. These are some cards I made up that you got a lot of anxiety and depression, anger. You know, you need to take action. You need to stop just sitting there pulling back in the yang energy. You need to focus on forgiveness, letting go of resentments. Forgive yourself. I think you really need to forgive yourself. Like, especially if you're realizing something from this pattern about someone from your past that this happened to, you need to forgive yourself. Like, you didn't know. You see it now. You see reality. You've checked your reality. You know, now you need to do all the work and check in your reality so that your reaction mirrors what you actually want and shows what you want. You might even want to look into, like, I pulled up, like, crystals just popped out like crazy. So look into crystals, look into how you feel. One of them that came up when I was shuffling for your healing crystal card is like the love quartz, the rose quartz. So maybe you want to look into that for raising your vibration or coming out of the fear-based mentality. I love fluorite too. Amethyst, maybe even rose quartz, especially starting off now, or black tourmaline to go against like negative thoughts. It helps ground you as well. So probably black tourmaline would be your second best, but rose quartz would like really help because you need to raise your frequency. You have these other oracle cards that I'll go over real quick. It's funny because you actually have like this is a 32, which is a 5. This is a 23, which is a 5, and then you have a 4. So it's like you have a lot of conflict going on and problems with balance. But this card is about being careful what you wish for. Like, do you know what you really want? Does your environment uphold what you really want? Yours is reversed. So, like, look at her. She's, like, called in her soulmate, but she's a friggin' jellyfish. So she called him in, but, like, it killed him or it paralyzed him. Like, her environment doesn't uphold it. But yours is reversed, which is, like, you're not seeing that you're wanting things and you're wanting to manifest things and bring them in, but that your thought process and your environment and all of that is, like, literally sabotaging what you're wanting. Like, you can't even bring in what you want because you're sabotaging it. This is like calling in help and acknowledging help, and it's reversed. Like, you're not talking to anyone about this problem. You're not asking for any help. You won't even allow help. Like, you have to do it all and tire yourself out. And this is somebody who knows that they have abundance and they're giving back and they're grateful for what they have. And this is somebody they don't see what they have. They're not grateful for what they have. This is not a lack mentality. Like, this is knowing you have enough to give. And anybody who doesn't know, like, doesn't think they have enough to give has a lack mentality. So it's like you have a lack mentality. You don't know that your situation is sabotaging right now. So if you are trying to bring in this person from the past, I would highly recommend you do this self-work before you do that. Because even if you manifest them in, that's what they're going to become like. Ask for help. Don't try to take it all on yourself and be like a martyr and it makes you better or whatever. And realize that you have a lack mentality. You have a fear-based mentality. You have all that you need. Be grateful for what you have. Make a decision. And look at this. Like, you know, this again was reversed, but it's This is like she's being quiet while she's being told a story. Like, not letting her thoughts run over on things, not overthinking things or anything like that, but assessing the situation and seeing what's going on, being in the present moment. Like, what do they want? What are they doing? What story do they want written? Like, how does she want the ending to go? Is she for the hero? Is she for the villain? This is reversed. So this is like somebody not looking at their own thoughts. Like, it's like she's listening to a story and it's asking you, how do you want it to end? Who do you wish for, hope for, the hero or the villain, or what do you want to happen next? And then it's looking at your thoughts enough to see what you had wished for and why. Why are you wishing for those things? Why are you wanting those things? Being in the present moment, observing your own thoughts. Maybe you need to meditate. You need to look within. You need to do self-reflection. Look at what you're doing and look at why you're doing what you're doing. There is a reason why. It's not just who you are. There is a reason why you do what you do. And apparently you're doing things that isn't really serving you. You have the Eight of Cups. You are trying to emotionally withdraw, but you're trying to stay strong through it. I think you're putting on a face to some degree, like, you know, like you're strong or everything's good, or, you know, of the ego, but you're suffering in silence. And it's about, you know, you have the Ace of Cups, the resurgence of a love. You're waiting on someone to come in. You're just really trying to make a decision about all that. You really just need to have faith in yourself. Like, you know, you are different. You are interesting. You know, you need to take on new skills and have rapid improvements, but still know that, like, you're still valuable. You know, have that self-esteem. Because like I said, I felt that thing of like insecurity. Like, have a security in who you are. I don't know if all this or certain things you've been doing over time, or the lack of forgiveness in yourself, not only on what you did in the past, but what you're doing in this also, because you're keeping your options open, or even if it's the other person, what they're doing. Like, don't let that affect what you think about yourself. Like, know that you're still a great person and you're doing great things. Just work on yourself and learn from them and move forward. Like, it doesn't dictate you and who you are now. Okay? But, you know, again, like, this person is about helping other people, almost having to sacrifice to help other people in that moment. And I kind of get from it, like, don't be a martyr. Like it says, complete commitment. Commit to what you want. Commit to what you're doing. Don't be in just that mentality of doing things for other people and working and letting that control your mind and all of that. Trying to look at something. So this Mermaid of Immersion, complete commitment, like committing to a decision. This has always been a time of planning, or time of always planning, not doing, procrastinating, and making excuses for holdups. Reasoning to not go ahead, choosing to live on the land of excuses and old ways when the deep underneath is calling for you. Your soul has asked you do this, but you continually waste your time and fritter it away. It is precious, it is bright, it is good. This is different from enjoyment. This is fear masquerading. There are poisons and toxins, old thoughts and patterns you have maintained. Break free, dive in, dive deep. Be surrounded by and belong to the beauty you wish to become. When you return to the land, everything will have changed in beautiful ways. And this will cause you to be reborn and to transform. But yes, it's about helping those around you But I really think at this time that you need to kind of pull back from that, because it is going to kind of feed that martyr thought process you have. But not only that, you need to take that energy and put it on yourself. You have a lot of work to do right now, and I don't think you can really, I don't think you have any extra to give. I think there's a new life coming for you, breaking out, rapid growth, but, you know, you feel like you ran out of time, or that there's not enough time. Like, there's so many things coming in, it's one thing after another. And it's just one thing, and you don't have enough time to work. You don't have enough time to do all this stuff. Like, oh my God, I do so much stuff. Like, you're keeping yourself busy and so overworked so that you can't focus on the real problems underneath it all and what you're doing to sabotage things. You need to break out of that and come into your new life. You have not ran out of time. You might even think on this situation from your past that you can't forgive yourself for, that you ran out of time or something, or that you're trying to hurry, or I think you're just trying to, there's too many things in a day to do. And it's one thing after another. You're exhausted. It's a relationship. It's your past. It's you didn't forgive yourself. You are just like, it's breaking you down, right? So is it any wonder that your external environment is breaking down as well when it mirrors what's going on inside of you? You need to focus on the present moment. Like, all that glitters is gold. All that glitters is not gold. You need to relax, back off, take a nap, meditate, relax your energy, be in the present moment, focus on the here and now. The way you're thinking right now is not right. It's not the truth. You are not focused properly. You need to go and balance your feminine and your masculine energy. Your intuition and your higher self is really trying to help you with this. You really sabotage yourself. I mean, you worry yourself so much to the point that you just want to escape. Why do you want to escape from everyone else? Because you want to escape from your own mind. You want to escape from this. So every time you escape from somebody else, you are not escaping from them. You are trying to escape from yourself, which is why it doesn't work and why you just want to keep being by yourself. I pulled oracle cards for you, and I picked the Whispers of Love because I feel like you guys need to be a little bit more in the love frequency. You have embraced your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Look inside of you. The feelings that are going on are for a reason. Look at them. See what they mean. Don't judge them. It's okay. But you can't fix these patterns and know what's going on if you don't look at where they're coming from inside of you. So you also have spend some quality time together. It is imperative that we spend quality time with those we are in significant relationships with, listening and talking to each other. So that really means whether it's this relationship that you're wanting to fix, don't run from it. You know, spend some time with it. If it's someone from your past, talk to and spend some time from them. Whatever situation or even any connections you have around you, like, don't run from them. And if they make you uncomfortable, or as those things that mirror that make you uncomfortable, like, don't want to run from them or cut them out. Like, face them. Ask yourself why they are bothering you. What is it bothering in you? Don't run from the situations. Then you have, look at your pattern in relationships. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. I really think you should go look at my Scorpio new moon. Look at the Virgo part of that, because I feel like that is almost like precedes this. I don't know if this situation has ended because of that. I don't know if you're in the midst of it's just burning you out even more and you're trying to decide which way to go, or if you've made a decision and ended it and just looking within or going to someone from your past, or if you've sabotaged it to the point where someone else took care of it for you. Like even this card that you had earlier, which it was reversed, you know, this is not only if you want to bring this, person from your past into your life, and what you'll do if you don't realize the environment that you have around yourself. Like, is it really what you want? And is your environment set up that it can keep it alive? Or are you sabotaging it? And this isn't just someone from your past. This is this current situation too. You're not looking at your situation. You're not looking at what you're bringing to the table. You're not looking at your perspective on all this. So that's either for this situation or, the thing from the past, if that does apply to you. I mean, that applies to everything. Look at your situation. Look at you. Look at your surroundings. Look at what you're bringing to the table. Because if you don't, it's always going to be like this. It's always going to be like this. It will never just be good. It will always be this. All right, let me pull. I'm going to try to pull like three cards for spiritual guidance, and then we'll pull a healing crystal card, and then, we'll be done. But what advice do you have for Virgos for December of 2017? What spiritual advice do you have for Virgos for December of 2017? Okay. So the three cards, you guys, you have the Star card. So you need to do some healing on some level, which makes sense because I can't imagine somebody being in this mindset that you're in and it not being due to needing to do some healing. But this whole cycle and these completions of cycles are trying to get you not only to heal, but to be on your path. It is being guided by your higher self, and it's trying to get you to go see the path, down your path. But you have to do the work. Like this isn't just gonna, just happen. This is being done to guide you, and you have to figure it out. Like, you have to listen to that nudge from your higher self. Listen to your intuition. Focus on self-love. It's also about the resurgence of love, but focus on self-love. Do the self-work. So yes, you could be like, okay, it's the resurgence of a love with a queen, the Queen of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Or somebody that's very nurturing and loving and emotionally balanced and uses their intuition. But this is also you. Like, this is you. Like, your higher self is leading you to self-love and healing, to embrace more of that energy yourself of becoming nurturing, loving, open, emotionally balanced, and intuitive. I mean, that is very much what you're searching for, is to be emotionally balanced, but it's also about, like the High Priestess and the Hermit card, intuition. All of this and this work is to bring you to that. healing, to align to your path, self-love. And to just, I mean, look at her. She's like walking on water. And she just is like powerful. It's becoming balanced emotionally and listening to your intuition and not shying away. Like, she doesn't have a fear-based mentality because she feels secure. She feels strong. So this is also the King of Cups, so knowing what you want. I'm sorry, the King of Wands. So it's like knowing what you want. But the funny part is that you have the King and Queen of Wands. And you have the Wheel of Fortune. So it's like, you know, karma's either been released or is working on your side, like divine timing, or the wheel is turning in your favor, luck is turning in your favor. And then you have the Ten of Cups again. So you have emotional fulfillment, but you can now nurture the situation. You can now allow it to grow. And you have, you know, the Queen of Pentacles. So it's like you can nurture the situation. You could feel grounded in it. You could feel strong in it. This is a Cancer or a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. So it could be with a Taurus, or this just could be you. And you have the Queen of Swords too. Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone taking on the energy, or you just now knowing what you need to do, and you know what to nurture. You've decided, and you know what to nurture, and you know what needs to go with the Queen of Swords. And it brings you emotional fulfillment within yourself, the Nine of Cups. You're aligned with your higher self and what you really want. And it brings you happiness, a higher vibration. This is the Sun card. You know, and you transformed like an eagle. But happiness, Two of Cups, and into union. And then you have the Four of Pentacles again. So stable, balanced. I think the main point in this is that, you know, I don't know about the situation from your past, because I don't know what that is. But if you listen to your higher self and you do the work and you follow your path that this is trying to lead you to, and you do the self-reflection and the self-work, and focus on self-love and raising your frequency and coming out of that fear-based mentality, you will feel on top again. You will feel emotionally balanced. You will feel intuitive. And you will know which way to go, what direction to go in this. And at the very least, just even within yourself, even if it's not about this present situation, if it's still going, or whether it's about your past. At the end of the day, those don't even really matter. It's about yourself, because it doesn't matter what situation you have. All of this is mirroring what's going on inside of you. This balance isn't balance in your life. It is, but it's not. It's balance with inside you. It's balance to come out of this. It's balance so that you don't feel like you have to go inside like this turtle or this tortoise, or you don't have to run. You're probably not communicating with your situation now, or your family now, or they're not communicating with you, or maybe this person from the past isn't communicating with you, or you're not communicating with them. Which makes sense, because you're escaping from everything. But you're probably looking at it like they're cutting you off, or they're not talking to you, or they've cut you off or not talking to you. And really, it's just mirroring that you're cutting everything else off and you're not talking to anybody else. Why? Because you're cutting yourself off and you're not listening to yourself. If somebody's lying to you, ask how you're lying to yourself. If somebody is cheating on you or cheating you out of things, ask how you're cheating yourself. If somebody is not listening to you, ask how you're not listening to yourself. This is, everything mirrors you. This balance you're seeking is within yourself. It is integrating your two halves. This, my friends, is not integration. This is not knowing what you want. Why? Because you don't know who you are. You don't know what you want. You don't have that self-love. You can't make a decision, because how are you going to make a decision if you don't even know what you want and who you are? If you don't even know how you're contributing to this? If you don't even know all the true factors that are at play? Because you haven't even thought about how you are contributing with your patterns in this way. If you have relationships that go in a similar or the same manner, and you're the common denominator, that says something. And no, it doesn't mean you're the one doing something wrong or the only one doing something wrong. You both play a part in it. It mirrors. It's like a dance. A relationship is a dance. So yes, they had a part too, but so do you. You can't wipe this cycle out or end this cycle or start new or want to start new and not do the work. You will end up right back here or worse. And if you want to talk to somebody or whatever, like, don't be like, play the victim mentality or, oh, they're not talking to me, or, oh, they're not doing this. Do what you want to do. If you have to do some self-work and get yourself balanced first, then good. Go do that. You should go do that. That way, when you go and deal with these situations, you could present the gift of a balanced mirror and have the best, outcome, because you're balanced, or at least as best as you can be. But don't hide away from it or be like, oh, it's over, or not forgive yourself, or sabotage everything, or it's like, I want it and then I want to build it, but it's like you want things to feel good, but yet you want them to hurt. Do you know how to enjoy something fully and just it being good? If it's, do you know this world? Do you? Can you handle this? Or is your frequency not aligned with this? So when this comes, or is currently in your situation, this is how you perceive it. Because you are not really aligned with what you want. Exactly like this says, be careful what you wish for. If you are not aware of what you're bringing to the table, this is what you make your situation to be. Not only for them, but for yourself. And it creates this. Because your frequency is not matching what you are trying to manifest and what you're bringing in. If you're acting like you want a relationship, but you're running from it, or you want a relationship, but yet you feel like it puts you in a box, like this guy's in a box. I don't know if you can really see it, but you feel like it puts you in a box and takes away all your individuality and all your free time. Or, oh yeah, I really want a family, but they always complain about how I'm always working. You need to assess what you really want and what you're doing. Because this is not alignment. This is not integration. And this is somebody who's like, yeah, I want this, but look what you do to me. No, I didn't cause this to myself. This caused this to me. No, yeah, I want it. But Jesus, this is what it does to me. It puts me in a box, so I'm going to put it in a box, and I'm going to put it in a box by not communicating with it, and by not spending time with it, and by going off of my own little world. And yes, you do have a right to do that sometimes, But, you know, there are other people and other people's emotions involved in this. Or this is what's being done to you. And if you do have somebody from your past or something that's kind of eating away at you, you need to deal with that and figure out what you want. Because this isn't fair to you and it's not fair to them. You need to figure out what you want and not keep your options open. And it's not just about your past. Like, don't be like, if for those of you who did, you know, ruin something with your past or you're thinking about it, forgive yourself and move on and learn from that lesson and like talk to the person and see if it's still worth, you know, your time or something that's healthy for you. But I can pretty much guess that you had your options open then just like you do now. Like, don't let your mind play games with you or think like you want something you can't have. And maybe you do. Maybe you realized it once it was gone and you're like, oh, now it's too late or whatever. But I may not be 100% right on this, but for the most part, even if this person came back to you, this is what it would be like. Because those reasons that you are keeping your options open and why you're staying mentally stuck like this, I don't think has anything to do with who you're with. Or vice versa. Or the situation. Or your family member or a friendship or whatever the situation is. This has to do with you. This has to do with you. It is both of you. I'm not saying it's just you. But whether you want to fix this situation or you want this past to come in, you need to work on yourself and work on raising your frequency and looking into that and look at the problems behind it and why you don't know what you want. And I could pretty much guess that that comes from not truly knowing and loving yourself on a soul level of self-love. You need to do the work. This is meant to put you on your higher path. Self-love. Put your crown on and come back into your power. Don't shy away. Don't be fearful. I'm going to pull a crystal healing card for you for Virgo 2017. You have Priscilla Bluestone. The Inner Compass. This is a stone about integration, by the way. Priscilla Bluestones planted healing energies from the land of the ancestors into a sacred healing landscape. This stone assesses past, present, and future. You are an ancient shaman who has much wisdom to impart and the ability to journey through multiple dimensions in search of healing. You have unshakable core stability and an inner compass that directs you with integrity. Use natural medicines for ailments. Pay attention to your boundaries. Dig deep into the past. Assess your memories and cut yourself free. Forgiveness. Examine your deepest intentions and roots. Live in the present moment. This is crazy. Find your own direction and face challenges with equanimity. You have the power to decide. Pay particular attention to your environment. Being true to yourself is the basis of all well-being, spiritual and physical. This is about a soul path of developing a spiritual compass. This is all about self-work. Looking in your past, looking at your present, what do you really want for the future, deciding it, not running away from it. I mean, you know, there are going to be certain parts of Virgos that are just going to be there and be part of who you are, but just you have to evolve. You can keep some of your characteristics and stuff, but it's obviously not working for you. You have to evolve. Work on healing and detoxing any emotions you have, toxic emotions. Look at your emotions. Do not hide from them. That's the reason you hide from other people, is because you're trying to hide from them yourself. So really do the work and really look at your patterns. Maybe look at that more than just this relationship or this situation, and more than just this past situation or relationship. Like, try to look at all of them. Really, really look at yourself. Look at the things around you. Look at the patterns. Look at what you're doing. Ways that you might sabotage. You know, what starts to happen when you start to take off, when you start to want to go and be by yourself all the time. Ask yourself why you keep your options open. Does it come from a lack of trust in your environment, which stems from a lack of trust in yourself? Do you want to keep your options open because you don't trust things around yourself? Do you want to flee the situation because you don't trust it? Does it exhaust you because you let this exhaust you? What would it be like if you were committed to it? If you didn't try to run from it? Why are you scared to make a decision? Like, do you keep this around because you don't know if something better will come? You don't know if you can get this back from your past? Is this the best it gets? Are you not emotionally fulfilled within it because you're not emotionally fulfilled within yourself? Do you keep your options open because you're always looking for, you know, the next shiny thing? Something that might be better? Or keeping options in your back pocket in case this does fall through? Because you and or the other person is just making it parasitic and just not good. Anyways, I hope you take this all in a positive light, because I know exactly what it feels like. I've been there. I know all about it. So I don't say this from a place of judgment. I say this from a place of I've been there. And until you do what I'm saying, you're always going to see things like this. You're never going to be able to just enjoy this. It's always going to be like this. Because this is always in your mind. You need to heal. You need to look into yourself. You need to figure out why you're doing things. And this could be on any level. You know, it doesn't have to be something so severe as your relationship breaking down. It could be something even just sabotaging things, such as you, for some reason, you always seem to like do a diet really good for like a month or two, and then it stops. Or you seem to go walk 2 miles a day for like a month, and then for some reason you always stop. Or you're trying to quit smoking, and you make it so far, and then you always stop. Dieting. I mean, I do think there's a thing of overindulging. I mean, this could even be drinking. Maybe you're creating or helping sabotage the situation to give you an excuse to drink if you have a drinking problem, or if you have a drug problem, or you have some type of overindulgent problem. Say you have a sexual problem, or you just overindulge in sex, or you're receiving gratification through sex. That all stems from the lack of self-love. And anytime you have anytime you have a lack of self-love in a relationship, it almost always becomes parasitic. It almost always becomes toxic. So it's self-work time. Hopefully this moves somewhere a little bit farther along. I feel like it's moved since the new moon reading, but I just don't know if you're more burdened at this point, or if the situation has ended or is ending at this point due to, you know, this, and creating the parasitic situation within this situation or relationship. I feel like it's moved a little bit though. I just hope it's moved, you know, kind of, it's kind of more in a positive light, because you do see the endings of the cycles, whether it's through the relationship or the cycle. But remember what I said in the beginning of all this. Do not walk out of a cycle, because you got all cycles. You have all the 10s. Do not walk out of such huge cycles ending and walk into something new not having looked at your patterns. Please, please, please do the self-work for your sake. And hopefully the next time there's a reading on this, we see, you know, it's moved farther along. But I want to see something happier for you guys. Something lighter, something where you've done more of the work, where you just see, you know, you just see this, not the other things with it. Okay? I love you guys. I am excited for what this is going to bring. This is a whole new, you know, bunch of doors of opportunity here. So it's heavy now, but if you do the work, you have this to look forward to. You've got blessings coming. So like, share, subscribe. Don't forget about the holiday deals. Don't forget to comment. You know, it gives you a chance of a free hour-long reading. Thank you for walking this journey with me. I hope everything came out okay. It was a little discombobulating. It's a very heavy energy. I feel for you, very much so. Try to like meditate, exercise, do some stuff to release this, and do some things to raise your frequency. It'll really help. Do the self-work. I love you guys. I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks. Bye.